All right. I think the next caller we have is Andrew. Let me pull Andrew up. Andrew from Ohio. He wants to talk about the 9/11 conspiracy theory. All right.
Hey,
what's up, Andrew?
Hi. Thanks for calling.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Nice to meet you guys.
Yep, you're on with Brian and Richard, and we're here to. You're going to debunk the conspiracy theory. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, well, I don't know which one's the most popular. That the buildings were controlled demolition, or no plane hit the Pentagon, or Flight 93 was shot down. But I believe in the official story, and I think the 9/11 Commission report did a pretty good job in explaining how the buildings imploded, how the hijackers were able to take care of hijack the airplane, and things like that. I just wanted your guys' opinion on what you think happened on 9/11.
I'm on board with the official story as well. I don't know that everything was handled the best way that it could have been on the ground, but who can go back and retrospectively say, oh, we should have done this, we could have done that. We can all sit there and do that, but to try to make it out like there was something nefarious going on with those people on the ground that were there trying to save people's lives kind of boils my blood a little bit. I mean, I can't lie. How about you, Richard?
No, I'm on board. I've not. It's not something I've really looked into as a conspiracy theory, but there's no problem. I share your view on it, Andrew. I think it's just all above board, and as the report says, I see no reason to doubt it. I've not looked into this specific conspiracy theory. I have looked into other conspiracy theories. They tend to follow a pattern, conspiracy theories, which even when the evidence comes forward and the people who want to follow the conspiracies use that as part of the conspiracy because they just don't want to accept it. There's nothing nefarious about it. It is what it is. It was a tragic event, and the report on it is pretty much what it says.
You get that same mind. You get that same mindset of people that do the denial of the school shootings and stuff, or that they're all actors and stuff like that. People start buying into that kind of stuff. That's dangerous thinking, and you're harming people. There's people that lost their family, that lost their children. That's what bothers me so much about those types of conspiracies. Or what the Vegas shooter, you guys remember that, right? With the fella that was up in the hotel room shooting everybody, and then they come out with all kinds of conspiracies about why and who and how. As far as the 9/11 conspiracy stuff goes, the main thing I remember is the memes. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams, those memes, which of course it doesn't have to melt it. We talked about this. We did, what was that movie we did, Ethan? Was it Zeitgeist?
Zeitgeist, yeah.
Yeah, where they talked about 9/11 and delved into some of the physics of it. But Andrew, do you got numbers on that or anything that we can look at? I know the 9/11.
Well, just think about the two planes that hit the Twin Towers. That's 90 tons of just the airplane. The first plane hit at 466 miles per hour, dead center. You have a 90-ton object hitting the North Tower directly in the center, and then you have most of that jet fuel going into the center columns where all the elevators are, and it actually did shoot down through the 77th floor to the lobby, because a lot of conspiracy theorists say that some of the windows were broken up because the guy who shot the first plane, I don't know how he got the first plane. He was doing a documentary, but yeah, there's 10,000 gallons of jet fuel, and it's got to go somewhere, and it went through. It's just catastrophic what happened. But when you think about what 10,000 gallons of explosion could do to a building, then you can understand how those buildings were not designed to handle that.
Oh yeah, no. I definitely agree with you there. the meat, that's why that was a meme, really, is because it doesn't have to melt them, it just has to heat them up enough that they're more malleable, that they can bend, and then the whole thing comes down. Because once you take that stress factor away, and you got to keep that in mind too, like you said, adding 90 tons of weight onto those beams as well, and then heating them up like that, it's amazing that it stood as long as it did.
It is, and when you look at the first building, it hit between 93 to 99, and no one survived above the 92nd floor. So there was damage to the floor below that when the plane hit initially, and no one was able to leave that stairwell, or and then you got 200 people that jumped from the building. So the fires were so bad that they had to choose: I can suffocate, I can burn to death, or I could jump and kill myself. So
all right. Real quick, before we go too much further, I want to thank you, Keith Heath, for the $5 super chat. Getting vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine shot tomorrow. With this post, I'm participating in the vaccine visibility and normalization. Thank you, Keith. Get vaccinated.
Yes,
I got vaccinated 2 weeks ago. I haven't, my chip hasn't activated or anything, so I'm still good. All right, Andrew, continue. So no one survived.
And with the second plane, it hit at 586 miles per hour. And I did a lot of research, which the conspiracy theorists will say that it is impossible for an airplane to go, a 767 to go at that speed, which is technically accurate, but it was descending at 6,000 feet per minute. So it's because of its downward trajectory that it was doing that. Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Adding this isn't a professional pilot. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, there was some joke also about that, and I think maybe it was Kenneth that said it, that they went to learn how to fly, but they weren't interested in learning how to land. That's the people who trained them said that. I don't know how true that is. I'm being hyperbolic with it, but and you said something about the plane that hit the Pentagon, right? That some people say that plane didn't exist at all because there was no video footage of it. I've heard that as well.
Well, there is a security cam footage. It's not frame by frame. It goes like, I think, one frame every second. It's like a still image. But remember, they're not going to have cameras pointed at the wall of the Pentagon. They're going to have cameras inside the Pentagon. And remember, if they say it's a missile, this happened right around the freeway area. So you have dozens of witnesses who saw the plane, and then it hit a few light poles, the wing. So you're not going to shoot a missile at the Pentagon in front of witnesses at a major intersection on a interstate freeway. It's just insane that these people think this way.
You know, and instead of I get exploring the conspiracies themselves, I'm kind of interested in exploring the conspiracy phenomenon and why people, because it seems to be a suite of ideas that people will buy into, batch together. And I don't want to get too political on the show here, but there seems to be a specific direction of ideologies that lean towards being conspiracy minded. What are your thoughts on that, Andrew?
I think it's just hard to see two buildings collapse with people in them, two skyscrapers collapse, and then you got the Pentagon getting hit. And then remember, it took about an hour for the roof to collapse on the Pentagon. And just to see and then you got Flight 93, you got 4 airplanes being hijacked in less than an hour, and you got 3 of them hitting targets. And I think they're just not doing enough research on, or they're looking at maybe that Zeitgeist video, but they're not doing the other research. They're not seeing the videos of the people leaping to their deaths from the Twin Towers because the fires are so catastrophic.
Yeah, and that's what's so sad about it, because it trivializes the tragedy. And as Brian said, that you can go across the board. It doesn't matter particularly which conspiracy you look at. The psychology behind the people who engage in them tends to follow the same pattern. And it's such a shame when there are real tragedies going off that people are more concerned about trying to get their own truth out there than these real tragedies that have happened and where this great loss of life has occurred.
Yeah, it kind of deflects from reflection on what actually happened too. It makes it hard for these people to move on with their lives when they're constantly bombarded. You know, it's one thing to lose a family member and then to be bombarded with people saying they were part of some kind of conspiracy. It's really got to be exhausting. And people, I mean, at this point in time, I think most everybody knows somebody at least that's related to that was in New York that day or experienced that somehow. So to have firsthand experiences of this event that accessible, and you're talking New York City, it wasn't just, you know, a few hundred people that saw this. This was millions of people that witnessed this. All this go down, surely tens of thousands down in the street saw it happen live. And then, you know, it was a terrible tragedy. I can't wrap my head around how it's so accessible for people to talk to individuals who were involved in this, and they still think that all these people are lying. All right.
I mean, yeah, when you look at Flight 93, it landed up the hijackers, because the passengers knew that the other three, that the North Tower, the South Tower, and the Pentagon were hit. So they were calling their loved ones, and they knew that, oh my gosh, we got to take over the airplane, or we're going to wind up dead. They're going to crash this plane somewhere. So they were attacking the cockpit, and the passenger in the, what was his name, Ziad Jarrah, he kept waving the plane around, but once he knew that the passengers were almost in the cockpit, he flew the plane upside down, and that's why that crash scene has that big hole. That's why there's very little debris, because the plane hit, I think, around 530 miles an hour upside down. And when you look at other plane crashes, they don't crash upside down in a coal mine. So you have to look at all the evidence and see, okay, this is why that plane was 40 feet. It buried itself technically in the ground. It crashed upside down. Usually when planes crash, they're not upside down.
Right.
So it's just, you guys do the research.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we appreciate your call, Andrew. If you come up with some more information and you want to share it, we are here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. Central. So feel free to give us a call.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
All right,
Andrew.
thank you for taking my call. Great talking to you. Thanks.
Oh. All right. Next up, unless you had anything you wanted to pop in there in between, Richard, actually, real quick, do you got anything coming up in the next week or so?
No, we're on tomorrow. We've got the weekly podcast coming out. That's Skeptic Hangout that I do with Laura McGee and Richard Gill. And that's it. And next week, I've got a really busy week doing lots of things with Ethan, so which I'm really looking forward to. But that's next week, so we'll get onto that then.
Welcome to the friendly neighborhood.